And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. This is a just gotta jump to it. Only keep on a while. Please, this is a just wanna tell you goodbye. Sylvia's mother says Sylvia's hungry. She's catching the night like dreams. Sylvia's mother says take your umbrella, 'cause Sylvia's starving to live. Sylvia's mother says thank you for calling, and said won't you call back again. And the operator says 40 cents more for the next 3 minutes. Please, this is Amy. I just gotta talk to her. I won't keep on the wall. Please, this is Amy. I just wanna tell you goodbye.
to everyone, and welcome.
We are here today to remember and celebrate the life of Lee Jerome. My name is Claire, and I knew Lee through his children when they were younger at Wainui Beach School. He always struck me as someone genuine, kind, and as a father who clearly loved his kids. Thank you all for being here today. For Lee's parents, Terry and Doreen, for his sister, Dawn, for his children, Poppy, Bram and Otto, for Jane, and for Lee's wider whānau and friends. Around the space today, you'll see some of what mattered to Lee. His art, his carvings, his surfboard, his bike helmet. They're a quiet reminder of the life he lived and the things he put his hands to. Today, we'll share Lee's story, hear from his family and friends, take a moment to reflect and celebrate a full life made up of many journeys, and take time to say goodbye. He was known to those close by many names: Pommy Lee, Driftwood, Leafle, son, brother, dad, big nose. He came soaring into this world on the 11th of December, 1968, at home in Basildon, with his dad pacing outside the door asking, "What is it?" to the exclaim, "I've got my boy," as he followed his sister Dawn, who was born a few years prior. The family moved to Southminster, Essex, where Lee's mum and dad bought their first home, and he grew up in an idyllic rural village lifestyle. Lee scarred his head falling from his tricycle. He rode and built BMX bikes and sidecars. A few years later, as a preteen, Lee moved to Green Lane in Burnham on Crouch, and that's where he found his soulmate, Bushy, brother to another mother. Both Lee and Bushy happily reminisce about sitting in the rafters of the house that Lee's dad was rebuilding, talking about bikes, cars, and girls, not quite realising that their friendship would continue for 40 years. The house, lovingly built by Lee's mum and dad, is still their family home. They allowed him to paint a mural on his bedroom wall, which is still untouched today, and that his kids got to see a few years back when they were there. Lee's parents, Terry and Doreen, and his sister Dawn and friend Bushy, have taken time to send their messages about Lee from their home. We will hear from them now. I will start by reading the message from Terry and Doreen. Leo, our wonderful son, who we will miss so much forever. You were such a fantastic dad to your 3 children, who are a credit to both you and Jane. Lee, you were always full of adventure. Then you got the travel bug, backpacking, Eurotrain, and experiencing the beer and various ways and cultures. You certainly did your fair share of travel. Well then, he moved to New Zealand with Jane. We were so sad. But when we did visit you and our gorgeous 3 grandchildren, Poppy, Bram and Otto, we so understood your reasons to make your life in this beautiful country. Although devastating for those left behind, and we know that it also broke your heart. Lee was always very strong-willed. His dad remembers going to our local pub with some of his mates, as he was soon to be starting his new adventures in New Zealand, and he recalls the tearful journey back home. But as usual, Dad was peckish, so decided to go to the local Turkish kebab shop. When he came out, kebab in hand, Lee said, "What you got there? A kebab? That ain't no good." For you, snatched it and chucked it. That was so Lee. And one of our best family memories was the days out in the Ford Capri with our cassettes playing, always the jazz singer Neil Diamond or Dr. Hook. Best times, Dawn and Lee would start arguing and hell would break out. Till we meet again, we will walk along the beach with Naboo. Till we meet again, love you forever, and we will miss you, our beautiful boy Leo. Love, Mum and Dad.
Hi, I'm Dawn. I'm Lee's sister. This is the 5th attempt to record this bastard message. You better appreciate it, Leo, because I've not pressed record 5 times. I've cried 5 times. Right, I'm going to start again. I'm going to try and get it right. Okay, bear with me. Bruv. He'd find this funny. Where do I start? As kids, you were the little innocent that I fiercely protected. No one hurts my brother from chasing one of the street bullies with a lump of 4x4 wood because he had made you cry, to wishing I'd let him beat the crap out of you because you were being a twat. Because in my parents' house with an open fire, in my parents' house at the time when we were young, in the 70s, they had an open fire. Mum hadn't put the grate on the fire. So me and my brother were throwing settee cushions at each other like you do as kids. I thought it was hilarious, laughing. My brother's aim was crap. He went to throw the cushion at me, missed, and it went in the fire. So I panicked. I was like, Mum. She was like, what? She was doing the dinner. What? It wasn't all open plan like some of the houses nowadays. It was separate rooms. Anyway, she rushes in and slaps me round the head. It's like, what was that for, Mum? Oh, because you're the eldest. But I didn't throw it. Lee did. Well, you should know better. That's the start of our lives together. Then you turned into a gorgeous teenager with the trendy clothes that all my mates kept saying to me, your brother's hot. Can we come round and meet your brother? No, you're my friends. Remember, you're with me because I'm a nice person. You want to spend time with me, not because you want to ogle my bloody brother. But his eyes, Dawn, his eyes. Yeah, right. I keep losing where I am. Then came you driving, passed your driving test. First time, me, 4th time. And do you remember the cars you had, Lee? You had the RS's, I'm not very good with cars. Ford Capri, Escorts, Mini. It means if he'd have kept those cars now, they'd have been worth a fortune. Hindsight, hey? Then came Bushy, your best mate, who I remember meeting with his dark mop of curly hair and cheeky grin. Must admit, I had a little bit of a crush on him, even though I was 2 years older. But he was your bestie, and you were both absolutely inseparable, did everything together, and that carried on until this day, really. Like the same clothes, same women sometimes, same music. Good buddies. And then time passed. We both grew up. I got married. I had 3 children. You met Jane, and you both decided New Zealand was to be your forever place. There was talk of New Zealand or Devon. Chose New Zealand. I was like, why couldn't you go to Devon? It was so closer. But yeah, made a great life there. We got to visit him 3 times. He got to come and visit us. So it was pretty cool. First time I grieved was when you actually moved to New Zealand. I was angry that you'd left. I struggled. I missed you. I found it so hard to speak to you. I'm an emotional freak. I got angry. Why has my brother left? Why has he gone? I don't want him to leave. Then you got ill. We all came to see you. I remember stroking your hair and us both sobbing and saying, I wish I could take it away, Lee. And then we both started to get very close. Ironic, hey, that the fucker that is cancer can bring people together. You were given such a short time scale to live. By then you had your beautiful children, Poppy, Bram and Otto, all mini-me's of their mum and dad. He loved his dad role and was a brilliant dad, and always will be remembered as a brilliant dad. He loved the role so much. and made so many memories. He grew spiritually. And my relationships with him grew. We were lucky that we had 2 visits to New Zealand and 2 or 3 visits with him in the UK. Such cherished memories. On the beach Christmas Day, talking, laughing, having a drink. All those things that you have to put into a small time scale because you can't do it every time, every week, because he's so far away. And he had so many more years that he'd been given that we never ever thought he'd reach. I think 11 years. Don't get me wrong, he struggled. We had many a video call and just cried, and I wished he could have got well, but it wasn't to be. Well, Leo, I will miss you and protect you forever. Now go and fucking walk the dog, and the boo's waiting for you. Until we share a coffee and a rant. P.S. Jane, you've been a diamond. Lee loved you and thank you for all your care. We will be forever grateful. Told you I was an ugly crier. Oh. And kids, if mum gets on your nerves and you want to have a rant, you know where I am. Promise I won't tell her. Now get pissed, everyone, and remember the cool dude that was my brother. Have a drink for us, and I love you forever.
Lee, I could talk about you for hours. You know I could. I feel like someone's cut my left arm off. And I bet you're laughing at me right now because you know how much I like speaking in public. But anyway, I've written you a little note, mate. Lee, we knew each other for over 40 years through all the laughs and all the tears. And for so long, side by side, you weren't just my friend, you were my brother. The memories I have are many and vivid, but here's one story, I still relive it. You had a red Capri, a 3-litre S. I bet you couldn't roll it home, and you said yes. We entered Green Lane, back end sliding out, swung into the drive like a proper Essex lout. You put your foot to the floor to stamp on the brake, but missed and hit the accelerator by mistake. The garage was there, your dad's car was in it. We went straight through both and somehow finished in it. I looked at you, you looked at me. They'd need a lot of bleeps if that was on TV. We realised your dad would be coming home, so I legged it back and left you there on your own. Sorry, mate, for leaving you in the heat. I'll tell you again next time we meet. From the Star to Tots and London Wag, we drank far too much beer and smoked oily rags. We did too much on that first Soul Weekender. We were far too young for that kind of bender. When I look back chasing all them highs, I hate to say it, but the girls were right. You did have beautiful eyes. They used to laugh and say our name because together we always came. Where you were, I was never far. That's just the way best mates are. Then life took you far to the New Zealand shore, but that never changed what we had before. You were still my mate, strong and true. No matter the distance, I still had you. And then your kids, your greatest pride, Poppy, Bram and Otto by your side. To you three here, I just want to say, your dad was a legend in every way. And I want to say this because it's true. Jane, he was very lucky to have you. Through all those years, through everything he faced, you stood by him with strength and grace. Even when life took you different ways, you were still there through the hardest days. A rock beside him, strong and true. That says everything about you. Lee, you were more than a friend to me. You were part of who I will always be. So this isn't goodbye, just time apart. You'll always live on in my heart. Sleep easy, mate. I'll see you again.
His first motorised wheels, a nifty 50cc Suzuki motorbike, led to many eventful rides to work with Bushy, where Lee was known to be pulling him out of a ditch or two. The freezing cold hands and feet meant that he fiercely saved up his money for a car. Lee's first love, a yellow Ford RS 200, followed by his second love, a black Ford RS Turbo, truly confirmed him as a petrol head and, in Bushy's words, a complete tart. Growing up in Burnham, he made lifetime friends with Carl, Dingo, Raver, Ham, and so many to mention. Together, they created epic memories, some blurry recalled from memory, others seen in photos today. These fun times extended to nightclubbing at Tots in Southend and London hotspots, the Historia, the Wag Club, the Milk Bar, and the notorious Soul Weekenders, which, on Lee's initiation, left him bereft, outside his mum's front door, frozen, asleep, passed out, with a mangled door key in his hand. Lee's first job, with Brian Padman, his next-door neighbour, exposed him to plumbing skills that he continued to incorporate in his DIY projects. Then onto Mayland Motors as a grease monkey, adorning Lee with car mechanic skills that came in handy countless times down the road. Then joining with Bushy to work for a slightly wonky electrical firm, again gaining useful skills, and onto the Matrix firm with Raver and countless stories of misadventure, probably not to be discussed here. Lee's wanderlust started with a backpacking Euro trip with Dingo, Bushy and Carl, taking in the usual sights, holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa, feeling exhausted, hungry and tired in Paris, counting out his last francs to buy a coffee, baguette or a burger. Then, Lee's first city job as a suit at NatWest, making firm friends on those long train journeys to London, Liverpool Street, which made them more amiable. His mates called him crazy when he sacked the suit job to travel with Raver and Carl to join Dingo for a walkabout in Australia. Living out of an old Ford estate, which Lee later sold for a crate of beer, and making more memories and forging deeper friendships. What happened in Australia stays in Australia. Then, Lee's first ski season in Serre Chevalier in France, with Bushy and Bushy. Yes, Bushy has a sister also known as Bushy. Happy days carving through powder, getting up early for the first ski lift with a hangover. After a night in the underground, once again making new memories and friendships to last a lifetime. Not forgetting the lost week, visiting Raver during his DJing stint in Lanzarote, and feeling the love of the music. New Zealand captured Lee's heart when travelling with Izzy in Opua. His love, Izzy, returned to the UK, and Lee stayed on, travelling both islands extensively, in Brian's Morris Minor, making a promise to return. Back in London, this time suited and booted, at Goldman Sachs, with his sidekick, Bushy, earning enough money to buy his first home in Burnham, which he lovingly made his, using all the plumbing, sparky, and decorating skills he'd gained along the way. All the while fitting in weekends, surf trips to Croyd and Brood, snowboarding at Serre Chevalier, Maribel, and to finally getting his wish to return to New Zealand. In 2006, Lee landed in a place he hadn't even visited the first time round, Gisborne. His partner in crime, Jane, breaking family and friends' hearts, moved to the other side of the world for an adventure and a new vocation, window cleaning. Pommy Lee, keen to keep your windows clean. With the move came new friends. Rick and Kim would like to share some words in a reading about their friend Lee, followed by Mike and then Kerry.
Sort of, bear with me. What did I go for? When we were making the move from Chevalier, France to New Zealand, my home country, our best friend, Carol Bush, told us of their good mates from growing up who had also just moved to New Zealand. It's called Gisborne, she said, describing the town. And that was that. We met up in Gisborne with Jane and Lee, and the rest is history. Working out that Rick had been in the same French mountain bars at the same times, and that we knew the same people made us all feel like we all had a little bit of home with us. Lee and Jane became our fast besties, and along with Phoebe and Tim, we supported each other like family, having great times with many of you here, sharing evenings on the beach fishing with the lads, or drowning bait might be more appropriate, out on the kayak, beach walks with Naboo, camping up the coast, and Jane and Lee DIYing their Murphy Road home. There were a couple of winter missions to be on the snow, with the only injury ever occurring when Lee was impressing the pub full of whakapapa locals on the dance floor. Well, that caterpillar was worth the gash on the nose. Back in Gizzy, years passed with more of the above. Weekends of lazy dinners, curry nights, barbecues, special visits from family and friends, midwinter Christmas in the grey, and Kiwi Christmases with champagne on the beach. So many bits of memories from all these early years. And in them all, there's those sparkling blues with Leo and his cheeky banter. What Lee most loved to do, what made him most proud, was being a dad to his pops and his boys. I won't last long with this, so the simple truths about how much you were the greatest joys to him, about how hard he fought to be with you, how much he loved you, and how he fiercely loves you still. Lee had a life of love, friendship, and family on both sides of the world. So a moment. To all of you in England, we share in your pain of losing Leo, a unique and true friend. To the Bushies in France, we love you. To Terry, Doreen, and Dawn, thank you for sharing your wonderful boy with us all. We are so heartbroken for you. To Janie, the layers of your love for Lee over the years have been incredible, never more so in the last 6 months. Your respect and understanding of him is such a blessing. And finally to Lee. What a good man you were, Leeful. What a privilege to be your friend and share this part of your life with you, for the great days and all the ones in between. Thanks for the laughs. Rest up, Leo. We love you.
Right, well, I'm Mike Leahy, a friend of Lee's. I was thinking about Lee's timeline. If it's this long, I've probably known him for about that long, but the reality is the stuff we did together is probably only about that long. So we're just going to talk about a little bit. Now, in this, there will be some swearing because that's how Lee talked. And there will also be a phrase that I'll bring up that if you're having trouble in the years later of remembering Lee, just remember this phrase that I use later and it'll bring him back to mind. So we had a few things in common. Bushy, Lee was an advocate for lycra, so he still liked the female form. And he quite often went down to Raglan Roast to meet up with me. Most people go down to drink coffee. We went down there to give ourselves or each other a good roasting, and anyone else that was stupid enough to sit with us. The other thing we did down there was organise motorbike rides. So it sort of split into two categories. There were trail rides, which are off-road, and adventure rides. So I'll just sort of go through the trail ride side of it. So and Lee's progression through the bikes that I knew he had. I think he had a BMW 650, which he started with, which was a bike he could ride on the gravel. And then he'd heard me going on about these trail rides and riding around the back country farms and stuff. So he bought himself a thing called a KTM 500. Now, if you don't know what a KTM 500 is, if insects are motorbikes, this thing is like a bright orange praying mantis. It's about 2-story high, and it's got a power to weight ratio of a Ferrari. It's built for like 140, 150 mile an hour open desert racing. It is not built for trail riding in the backcountry of the Mungoni Valley. So one of my bright ideas was, Lee, we'll go and help the school kids fundraise down at the New Harker Trail Ride. So we go down there, and it's midwinter, and it's raining, and it's wet and cold and slippery. About 20 minutes into it, the other thing is, Lee's the only guy on a sort of a dual purpose bike. Everyone else is on cross country or motocross bikes. So about 20 minutes into it, and after about 3 falls down a hill upside down and rolling backwards and generally not having a good go at it, he starts to realise that maybe this bike isn't for him. I don't even know how he got on it. It's huge. So we get to the Mungoni Valley Road, which is sort of halfway through, quarter of the way through the trail ride, and Lee decides, I've had enough of this. So I said, well, turn left on the road, and then turn right, and when you get on the main road, turn right again, it'll get you back to New Harker, and off you go. And then I dropped my bike in second gear, promptly covered him in mud and disappeared off with the rest of the crowd, left him to it. And that was the last time I saw that KTM. Apparently when he sold it, all he could see, the last recollection, was some guy wheel standing down the road on it. I'm not sure if it was intentionally or not, but it went. Then Lee bought the little BMW out there, which is a bit more sensible, but it was just a dual purpose, an adventure bike. It wasn't a trail bike, so he upgraded with another bike, a little red Honda CRF 230, which was a bit smaller and not quite as powerful. So in my wisdom again, I said, Lee, we need to go and fundraise for the Waipawa School. They're having a trail ride up there in the forest. So off we go. And we're doing quite well. But what I hadn't told him was, it's called Waipawa, obviously because of the forest, but there's also the Waipawa River. So you start at the complex, and about 400 metres into it, you get to this Waipawa River crossing, and there's a bit of water moving, and you'll like this, Kerry. We're pulling up in sort of lots of 4 or 5 bikes at a time, just seeing what's what. And Colin McNabb was in front of us, in the group in front of us, and I said to Lee, just stop, let's just watch this, we'll see what's going to happen here. So Colin takes off with his mates, and he's going quite well across the river. And then something happened, and Colin disappeared for a couple of seconds, like literally disappeared. So we had a quick debrief, and we decided we wouldn't follow Colin across that bit of the river. We moved further down and got across dry. And then further down the track, we're going up a hill. We're about 2/3 of the way up, and it's quite steep, and it's greasy, and it's been raining, and it's a forestry track, and it's not much fun. And Lee fluffs it on a corner and stalls the bike. And then the electric start wouldn't work, and I'm thinking, oh, holy hell, how are we going to get this going? And the general rule is you don't go back down where you've come, because there's still it's basically one way, there's still bikes coming up. But I bravely volunteered him and said, mate, you're going to have to turn that bike around and go back down against the traffic. It looks reasonably straight, so hopefully someone won't T-bone you. And meanwhile, I'm doing a mental calculation of how far away are we from the car and how far he's going to have to push it while I finish the track and then go and get a car and drag him out. But anyway, the good news was he managed to get it going. He turned around, shot past me at high speed, and I hardly saw him for the rest of the day. But that was the end of that trail ride. And at some stage, Lee had to move the bike on. Life changed a bit. So we ended up, him and I, on the little Beamer out there, and I got a little 250, and we'd go around every back road we could find. But to organise that back road, we would have to plan it in advance with long-range forecasts. Now, most of you think long-range forecasts are to do with the weather. No, nothing at all. It's to do with the family. No offence, Jane. So we would sort of start hinting at each other about a Tuesday or Wednesday, what's going on? Can we go for a ride? And how's the forecast looking? Oh, yeah, I think Jane's got something to do with the kids. So it's like, oh, well, how long have we got? Because normally we get like 1, 2 hours, maybe 3, Are we talking 4 hours? Are we talking 5? What's going on? So we'd plan that through and get that confirmed with a catch up on Sunday morning about 8 o'clock down at Raglan Roast, just to make sure that I haven't got a hangover and we're still going, and that Jane's still got things planned, and then off we'd go. And basically, I would be in the lead because Lee hated being in the lead. He was the guy that sat behind you. And there's a reason he sat behind you. Is A, he could follow me, and B, when I cocked it up, he could give me arseholes about it. So my plan was, figuring out how far we had to go, and how we'd get there, and if we had enough petrol to get home and things like that. And we'd quite end up quite often end up in the middle of nowhere. And this is Lee's favourite phrase, because I would have already got there. He pulls up, take his helmet off, he'd look at me and say, well, you've really taken us to bumfuck nowhere, haven't you? So if you can remember that, that's Lee. And then the roasting would start again. Meanwhile, I'm trying to remember where the last turn-off was for the road so I can get us back. But that was sort of our riding. Sometimes we'd be in bigger groups, but Lee was my wingman. Quite often it was just the two of us, and we'd just go out for a Sunday morning and back by 1 or 2. Often revolved around coffee at the Matawai Cafe. In fact, I think going by the look of the mud on there, he probably hasn't cleaned the bike since we went through the motor road a while ago. So we got all around most of it, all the back of Waikamoana, Wairoa, Raupanga, all over the place. So, but I did mention that Lee's always giving me crap, and he also used to give me crap about drinking VB, which I happen to have a can here of. So I'm going to have a little toast to you, Lee. I'm going to get it back to you. So here's to the best window cleaner in New Zealand, according to Lee. No doubt about that at all, but possibly the world. So cheers to Lee.
Hi there. I first met Pommy Lee years ago when he used to clean my windows in Leisner. We quickly struck up a good rapport. Lee was always cheerful and loved talking about his family. You could tell they were his world. Over the years, Lee's health had its ups and downs, and during those times there were pauses in the window cleaning at my place. Wanting to keep it in the family, I started using his brother-in-law, Rob, to do the job. Not long after Lee and his family made the move from Wainui to Wheatstone Road, finding a property with a bit more land, perfect for the kids to spread out and enjoy, yet still close enough to the beach for him to scan the shores for his favourite stones. Lee was a regular at Raglan Roast. Alongside the table of knowledge, we would all attempt to solve the problems of the world. These coffees and conversations were special times. Over the last few years, Lee was travelling back and forth to Rotorua for treatment. He never complained and tried everything to make sure he would be here to see his family grow up, changing his diet and saying he very rarely ever had a drink. His determination was remarkable. He managed a special family trip to the UK with Jane and the kids, catching up with close friends and family. Happy days and precious memories. Sadly, when he returned to the UK again last August, he was extremely unwell during the trip. After coming back to New Zealand, his health deteriorated further, but his stamina and positive attitude never left him. His fight is now over. Rest in peace, Lee. Look over all those stoners, especially at the table of knowledge. You will be deeply missed. A special reflection on Jane's kindness and empathy. It did not go unnoticed. And to his children, you had a great dad who thought the absolute world of you. Thank you.
Thank you all. In Gisborne, Lee established a new Kiwi family, raising a puppy, Rhodesian Ridgeback, Naboo. Many fun times were had, creating new memories, camping, surfing, fishing and snowboarding. So when children came along, first Poppy, then Bram, and finally Otto, plus another dog, Monty, the pace had slowed a little. He loved being a dad and was never far from his children. The wanderlust had stopped, he had found his place in the world and was settled and happy. Wainui Beach is especially special. Many sunrises, catching his first fish from NZ waters and watching his kids grow up. Throughout trial and tribulations, Lee and Jane's priority and shared love of their children have seen them through many dark times. And the Gizzy community, along with family and good friends, has propped them up along the way, throwing welcomed lifelines. For this, they are forever thankful. Jane would now like to share some words for herself and for their children.
Okay. Ooh. I don't think I'm going to look up very much, to be fair. So I'm not being rude. Lee, knowing me so well, will know how much I procrastinated before I actually put pen to paper. The house was tidy, the dishwasher was on, the kids bathed and tucked up in bed, and another cup of coffee deep, interrupted by negotiating peace between Mouse the cat and Scruffy the mutt, both SPCA specials. And my bet is on that Mouse is actually going to win, because head on she seriously has beef with the new living arrangements. Lee and I have no words left unspoken. I had the privilege to watch him take flight on to his next venture. Just this time he was going solo, you know. I'm not going to cry, this is cool. For someone so organised, never late and so efficient, he had no final requests. He just said it was up to us and to say our farewells. Like, thanks, that's just an open book, isn't it? We could have so stitched him up. Well, I hope that he'll be able to feel the love and present in this room and across the miles, in those bleary eyes watching this stream across their screens. Kudos to his mum and dad, Doreen and Terry. They raised a strong, independent, kind, stubborn and witty son. And Dawn, his sister, also strong, independent, kind, stubborn and witty. So see, the traits of the Jeromes run deep. Dawn's son, Jamie, wrote and produced a beautiful song for Lee. Along with her husband, Tim, and other sons, Sam and Eddie, will be lovingly holding the crinklies. That's what Lee called them. That's his mum and dad, it's not me. They'll keep the crinklies afloat and steadying the ship during these stormy waters. As a dad, Lee showed unconditional love for Poppy, Bram and Otto. He was fair, reliable, ever present through both good and challenging times, albeit tested on many occasions, with each child vying for being the favourite. Yeah, that's still out. Okay, kids, you still got time. Still got time to vie for the favourite. He even peeled off the Band-Aid firmly stuck on his absolute hate of football and become a football coach for Otto's team. It's hilarious. He hated it, football, but he embraced the challenge and he actually got to like it. So that's love expressed in action right there. His lasting friendships with Bushy, Raver, Carl, Dingo show testament to his character, bonds that are not broken by distance and fully topped up with recent visits home and abroad. He carved out new friendships on foreign shores who helped and supported him and his family over the years, even when Lee perhaps wasn't his best self. There is another word he'd describe himself, but this needs to be a bit PG, but it rhymes with anchor. Yeah, he was quite brutal with himself, and he was quite brutal. As you can see from the photos, Lee loved a good dress-up. We ain't seen him yet, but what you will see from the photos, what you will see from the photos, Lee loved a good dress-up. He enjoyed a tipple or two, and certainly, without a doubt, had a witty, cheeky charm. He was trusted in other people's homes, had knowledge of spare keys, and held secrets. To these confessions of a window cleaner will follow him to the four winds. I haven't found his diary yet. There could be a film in this, Netflix. The kids, Lee's parents and sister, and I wish to say how deeply grateful we are for all the support and love that's got us to this point in time. Words cannot express my love. Thank you, Mike. I think that bit there.
Words cannot express my love for the beautiful humans that came to our aid with just one phone call. The Beside Vigil rota patched together by Rick, my brother Rob, Kim, so he was never alone when I returned to the kids at home. Phoebe and Kim for wrapping themselves like mama bears around my kids and my soul sisters, and amazing list writers for which today could not have happened. For Tim, who has lovingly, painstakingly put together Lee's photo timeline from hundreds of photos emailed to him over the past week so that we can appreciate and see a snapshot in a life well lived. For Amy, providing a bountiful spread of food to nourish us. Steve for keeping us sharp and alert with his coffee brew. Bushy and Raver putting together an epic playlist of Lee's favourite tunes. Bex for organising a home dinner rota of lovely ladies to keep us wholesomely refuelled. Holly for gathering and displaying the local sunflowers, and Rick for pretty much organising everything. I could go on, as there are so many hands that have lightened the load. Lee was never one for cut flowers, as he couldn't sacrifice their beauty, purely for this want. However, sunflowers are significant for him, his sister and Poppy, as they too are deeply rooted in their nature of always turning towards the sun. What you see here today are his houseplants he lovingly nurtured. They represent lasting life, memory, hope, and the enduring nature of his spirit. And of course, Lee was renowned for his stoner pictures. He was never one to pass a funny face placed by nature in his path during his many dog walks, whilst his dog Scruffy was literally terrorising the beach. So if you see a stoner, have a thought of this lovely fella. He probably put it there just for you. Nothing Gold Can Stay by Robert Frost. Nature's first green is gold, her hardest hue to hold. Her early leaves are flower, but only so an hour. Then leaf subsides to leaf, so Eden sank to grief. So dawn goes dawn to day, nothing gold can stay. We will now play a song written and performed by Lee's nephew. This is a moment to reflect on the full life that Lee led and the impact he has left behind. While the music plays, Poppy, Bram and Otto will light a candle for their dad and also for those who can't be here with us today because of distance. time to see some more images curated from Lee's life. Enjoy the slideshow.
Oh no, I see a spider web is tangled up with me, and I lost my head and thought of all the stupid things I'd said. Oh no, what's this? Spider web and I'm caught in the middle. So I turned it around and thought of all the stupid things I'd done. And I never meant to cause you trouble. And I never meant to do you wrong. And well, if I ever caused you trouble, oh no, I never meant to do you harm. Oh no, I see a spider web and it's me in the middle. So I twist and turn, but here am I in my little bubble, singing out, I never meant to cause you trouble. I never meant to do you wrong. Well, if I ever caused you trouble, oh no, I never meant to do you harm. They spun a web for me. They spun a web for me. They spun a web for me.
Before my final words, I'd like to draw your attention to the memorial book. Please take some time to share some words with Lee's family, a message, a memory, or what you will miss, for them to read over the coming weeks. If you have a stoner with you, you will find a basket there for that too. If you're also invited to stay for a drink and something to eat. As we close today, I want to acknowledge Jane, Poppy, Bram, Otto, Lee's parents, Terry and Doreen, his sister Dawn, and the wider family and friends who love Lee. Grief doesn't stay the same. In the beginning, it can be shock or heaviness, or simply getting through the next hour. Over time, grief often changes shape, and it becomes more about what people miss out on, the moments Lee won't be there for, the things you want to tell him, the ordinary days that feel different without him. So my request today is simple. Please keep gathering around this family, not just today, but tomorrow and next week, and in the months and years ahead. Keep checking in. Keep showing up in practical ways. Keep making space for Lee to be spoken about. Keep helping carry what is heavy when it's heavy. On behalf of the family, thank you for being here, and thank you for the love you've shown. Ngā mihi nui. We will give Lee the final laugh with this following gem.
Right, I've been on a lot of travels recently, right? And I know a lot about things. I'll just tuck me a bit on you. Right. And now I'm going to show Bushy the stance how to surf. Right? You start like this, head down, because you don't want to see the big waves coming along.
Right, so you keep your head down, and then you paddle like this.
Because then if you go out, you go around in circles.
Right, and then what you do, right, you go, that's it, you're surfing. And then what you do, right,
You've got to look where you're going, Lee.
No, because if there's a big wave, man, you don't want to see it coming.
No, you're just looking that way, though, aren't you? It's behind you.
Don't look, trust me.
You go like that. Keep your feet up like that as well, and keep your heels
You don't
out.
have to keep your feet up like that.
And then what you do, right, you pop.
Not far.
What you do, right, you put your hands on the side and you go.
That was good, wasn't it?
It's fucking clever, man. It's fucking wicked. Go on, do it now.
Are we recording yet? Oh, vital statistics everywhere. Vital statistics. In your face. Popeye, the same man. Hello, how are you? I just had one of them like Cornish pasty type things. Those fucking. Since my baby left me, I had a long place to go. I've been so lonely, baby. I've been so lonely, baby. I've been so lonely, I could die. Beats and like, the birds going in. Done this bloody great thing. I was off this lip, though. Dave, tell them about that.
It was off the lip. It was about 1,000 foot high, and Lee went on it and come down it, and then got wiped out, and he went into the thing.
It was a tube, man.
It would have been a tube if it was bigger.
Man. Watch this, let's get this on video. This is my little sexy number I bought in Oz. Right, check it out.
So we put it in the thing.
Check it out, my man.
All she said is you've got lovely eyes.
Go on.
Makes me look really big and muscular. Or sticky fit. And everyone's going to think I'm a model or something. Because I'm war child.
walks up our street. He's a worker for the council, has been 20 years, and he takes no lip of nobody and litter off the gutter, puts it in a bag and never thinks to mutter. And he packs his lunch in a Sunday's bag. The children call him Boogie. He never lets on, but I know 'cause he once told me. He let me know a secret about the money in his kitty. He's gonna buy a dinghy, gonna call her Dignity. And I'll sail her up the west coast, through villages and towns. I'll be on my holidays, they'll be doing the rounds. They'll ask me how I got it, I'll say, I saved my money. I say, isn't she pretty? That ship called Dignity. And I'm telling this story in a faraway sea, sipping down Raki and reading Maynard Keynes. And I'm thinking about home and all that that means, and a place in the winter for dignity. And I'll sail up the west coast, through villages and towns. I'll be on my holidays, they'll be doing the rounds. They'll ask me how I got it, I'll say, I saved my money. I say, isn't she pretty? That ship called Dignity. Dignity.